information station. WTIM.
It's a WTIM morning show. I'm Avery Cooper, your host. Your stream brought to you by Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark. And People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first. You'll find the streams on the TaylorvilleDailyNews.com Facebook or on YouTube at WTIM TV. In November, Christian County selected a new board chairman in a way. Brian Sharp is the board chairman in studio right now for the Christian County Board of Directors. It's great to have you here, Brian.
Well, thanks for the opportunity to come in and visit.
So at first I want to say it's an honor to have you in studio as a new chairperson of Christian County. How long have you been on the board itself? Is this your first term?
So fairly a newcomer. This would be my second term.
Okay.
Served 2 years prior to this election because of the census. Basically, everybody on the board was reelected this past year or this past election. So everybody's back on and some new faces and we've got a really nice board laid out in front of us.
What were some of the things that made you want to run for your first term?
There are issues. I mean, everybody knows the different issues or are aware of different issues floating around the county, things that, you're interested in or you are passionate about. And there were a few of those issues that I could see were going to be in the future affecting, folks in my district, District 3, and that, I needed to be aware of, I felt like I wanted to have a voice in trying to guide how that might work for everyone. So that's kind of where it came from to begin with.
Yeah. What are you, 2 months into being chairman?
Yeah, we're 2, 3. Yeah, 2, 3. I think we were sworn in December.
Okay.
So got a couple
about
of months.
3 months. Well, yeah. 2.5, 3 months. We'll call it. How's it gone for you in that time?
A learning curve. I didn't expect as steep a learning curve. It is interesting. You can sit in the boardroom and participate and you see part of this. You see a lot of the story, but there's a lot more internal workings at the county board office that I really wasn't aware of, and how that departments are orchestrated through the county board office and the resource that the county board office is. So it's that side of it has been a huge learning curve.
And I guess I want to know, as chairman, just on a board level, what are some of the things you've been working on with some of the other board members?
Yeah.
Just in general for an organizational type of structure, I guess, what have you been working on with them to create a better outcome for the board? Communication or what have you?
I would say, looking back over the past 2 years, I think there were a lot of things that were done well. There are probably some things that I'm going to do a little bit differently. One of the things that just seemed like sitting in the boardroom as decisions were being made and things presented to you, it was just kind of the way things had always been done. But I say that loosely, but one of the things is an informed board. And I think that is one of the things I've been trying to strive. Am I there yet? No way. I am a long way from it. But this board is a strong board. This is a group of folks who are very engaged, that are looking for informed decisions.
Mm-hmm.
They want to make informed decisions. They want the information brought to them. And I think that's a responsibility that we have. I think they need to understand the decisions that they're making, and we need to discuss those decisions and what the pros and cons of those are going to be.
When you think of, and kind of going off of that, but when you think of the way a county board is supposed to run in your vision, how would you characterize that picture, that image in your mind of how it's supposed to run?
Obviously
understanding that yours is probably different than somebody else's,
without a doubt. And I think everybody's got this. There is a euphoric ideology of how you maybe would want that to look, and this is in a perfect world, this is how this would lay out. Obviously, that is never going to happen. And I've found that out. There are things that you want to provide. You want to talk to the folks. You want to make sure that they are provided the information that they need to make that. And so I guess my thought is we're going to just to strive to present as much information as we can to them, and make sure that we can all talk about these things, make informed decisions. Provided that and my door is open to them. I may not be in the office all the time, which I'm not, and but my phone is open to them. I'm available to them. And we will find those answers to the questions that they have so they can make informed decisions for Christian County.
Sounds like a lot of what you're talking about is, in fact, communication and bettering the culture of communication within the board.
That's I think within the board and within the community as a whole. I think there's a lot of things that maybe folks don't understand, and we struggled with that. I felt like I struggled with that in the last couple of years, trying to convey my idea or why I felt the way I felt. And I think it led to some confusion. I think the board had some confusion amongst itself, and I think maybe we had a little bit of, and the public had a little bit of confusion as to, why, what led to this? Why are they doing this? Why? And those are things. There are backstories. It's not that anybody can't ask and talk about it. It's all there to be discussed. But it was just some of those challenges that I hope to resolve those.
You mentioned the community, and I think that's good that you brought it up, because I want to ask you a little bit about the community. When it comes to the Christian County Board, what's the message you want to send to constituents, community members, people who can and maybe will make a difference in the county? When it comes to the county board, I guess, what's your message to those people?
I hope those folks are there for us. We need input. We need guidance. We've got a good board. I think they're well grounded. I think they have a good pulse on Christian County. I think they have a good pulse on the wants and needs. Why we may not always seem like we're fulfilling those, but I think they're there. It's a very diverse board. Those folks work in a lot of different industries, whether it's government, whether it's ownership of their own businesses, different things. So a very good group that adds a lot of information to us. But we do need that input from the county and from folks, and please engage us. If there's something you'd like to talk about, there's an opportunity at every board meeting. You're welcome to come in, and there's no questions or answers. You basically can present your feelings, and we appreciate that. So it's very helpful.
In your 2 years on the board, how often have you seen community members come in and suggest something and the board says, that's a really good idea? I mean, you see it relatively often, or?
There are. It's kind of amazing, the folks from the community, and it's so appreciated when they come in and do speak to us and make their statement. And it's not something to put somebody on the spot. It's but we regularly have one or two at most board meetings. But I would say as there's issues that are a little bit more concerning to them, those. We certainly have more public comment in those areas. So, but it is, it's appreciated. It really is.
I'm sure it is. I want to talk to you a little bit about some of the committee work going on, and how that has gone for you in the last couple of months. That's Christian County Board Chairman Brian Sharp. I'll ask him about that after this short timeout. Your stream brought to you by Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark, and People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first.
WTIM. Your information station, WTIM.
It's the WTIM Morning Show. I'm Avery Cooper. Glad to have you along. Your stream brought to you by Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark, and People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first. I'm Christian County Board Chairman Brian Sharp, who started his tenure as chairman of the Christian County Board of Directors in December. He's pretty new into it, but he's noticed a lot of different things on the board that he feels are positive, and he would like to share a lot about it. First, though, Brian, must say, as an outsider's perspective, I'm a little confused on how a county board works. I understand there's some committees involved. How does that, what committees are there and how do they work?
Yeah, so in Christian County, and I've in talking with other chairmen of other counties in the last couple months, it's arranged in different fashions. I mean, they all have committees, and some of them have more responsibility than others, and have more. And really, I guess we've kind of got one of the smaller committee structures. And we do throw a lot on each of those committees' plates. And, I wish I could was prepared to give you the full titles of those. But, in general terms, we kind of talk about our finance personnel committee. We also have buildings, grounds, and there's also additional functions that they perform. And then the finance committee. So we have three committees that kind of scrutinize over different issues. There are kind of specific issues that fall under their purview, and then some issues we have found it, because people do want to have a little more input, to be fair and educate them before the boardroom. So we do run some things through all of those committees for discussion as well.
Excellent. So three major, I don't want to say major, three ones that are, I'm struggling here, but you have three that you mentioned.
Yep.
How would you characterize the job that they've done so far in your tenure?
And I think the committee structure as a whole has worked well since I've been there. I think it has given an opportunity for the public to speak in those committees, to help guide the decisions of the committees and the recommendations that the committees do move forward. I do think that we've got to be diligent at understanding the roles of the committees and try to get that try to make sure that everybody on the board has an understanding of kind of what's going through those committees. But, there's a lot of documentation that goes along with it. There's a lot of reading that goes along with it. And I think as long as the board members as a whole are staying on top of those, which, there's hours spent every month. I mean, it's not just a board meeting and a committee meeting. I mean, there is a lot of time invested by those board members to stay on top of these issues that we're dealing with.
And I think too that you guys have done a pretty good job of streamlining those operations a little bit and keeping it I'm struggling with the proper terms here, but I think you guys have done a pretty good job overall. I want to say
we're trying to figure out ways to make these things move along, and so we don't sit here and just droll on about something that it can become mind numbing and the board kind of loses interest in different things. So we have tried to streamline that a little bit with the committee reports at the board meeting. Everything is available to everyone. It's all available to be read. But there's some things that, that we've taken action on that we have, that do have to come before the full board. And
I on that topic, I noticed covering the Christian County board meeting that had been last Tuesday that there were some items on the agenda through the committee reports, right, that weren't covered. Why is that?
There was no action taken on them
in the committee, right?
Correct. It was basically discovery or discussion. There were a few items that were tabled until more information was gathered. So that was kind of why some of those didn't.
And that'll happen regularly, I'm sure, because depending on different committees discussing what they managed to get to in that time.
That's it, or the information that they desire to have. I mean, there's sometimes a limited amount of information. We do ask for additional information, and then so things may be tabled. But we're trying to be progressive in this and take action on issues that we can continue to move on, because it really is easy to get backlogged and end up with an agenda that's 2-3 hour long agendas that it just doesn't work well for anybody.
I hear you, Brian. We have a couple of minutes left. I wanted to give you a chance to provide a little bit of your vision for what you see going forward over the next couple of years and your tenure as chairperson. How would you describe some of the things that you hope to make an impact on as you go forward through your tenure?
I think there are some certainly some issues, ordinances and different things that I have very a lot of interest in, and trying to get those shored up and make sure that they look good and are good for the people of Christian County. I will tell you that I talked at a committee, or not a committee, but a committee meetings, department head meeting the other day. And I tell you what, I had to tell them, I mean, I am proud of Christian County. I am amazed at the talent that we have in the county system. Incredible folks working there, picking up the slack where they can and do. We've got an incredible county. I'm amazed at the people that look to Christian County for guidance, the other counties that have reached out to us and look to us for what is Christian County doing and how are they doing it. So I think that's a story that needs to be told, and we do have a county to be proud of, and we are going to work to continue to see to it that stays that way. So.
Yeah, I really appreciate you taking time. Brian, when is your next board meeting, by the way?
Oh my gosh! Now you want to?
Oh no, it's okay. I think I can. I was just kind of
third Tuesday of the month.
There you go. Every third Tuesday of the month.
Yes.
Which, well, hold on, April 18th.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. Wait, no, March 18th.
March. Yes.
March 21st. March 21st.
I'll take that.
Sorry about that, Brian. I thought maybe you would know. You did know. It's on the third Tuesday of every month. What day that is? That's 3 weeks away.
Well, there's a lot going on in between each of those board meetings.
Well, yeah, lots of committee meetings and stuff as well.
The agendas are being crafted as we speak. So
that's fantastic. Well, Brian, thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking time to talk about the direction of the Christian County Board.
Yeah, thank you guys. We hope to be back and keep you informed on what's going on.
It's Board Chairman Brian Sharp here on the WTIM Morning Show. Your stream brought to you by Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark and People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first.
WTIM.